Alright, you guys, you know the drill at this point. Another Monday, another video. I'm pretty excited about this one. I mean, I'm sure I start a lot of my videos like that, but I was just really eager to draw some pumpkins. I figured what a perfect week for it, and I was just really excited to kind of jump on in. Obviously, I got a little overzealous with the sketching, and I was not able to get any of it on recording because I did it really late at night because I just got really excited. If you can't tell, that's the theme of this video right now. But yeah, so I just wanted to paint some pumpkins, and then that turned into also like painting some little crow raven-y guys. And if you'd like to kind of just watch me paint these pumpkins, paint these ravens, and chit chat while I do it, I'm more affluent. Feel free to call me Rory. If you're new around here, hi, hello, how are you? Feel free to let me know in the comments down below. I like to create dope art content and hopefully curate a chill atmosphere. And if you're not new around here, what is up, my dudes? Let's get into this video. My partner and I have been playing an absolute shit ton of Don't Starve Together, which if you've never played that game before, it's like a survival, I guess you could call it horror, but it's all animated and it's just like so much fun. You're basically just like picking these little characters and you play as them together in this like, that's super weird. I've never tried to explain it to somebody who's never played it before. You pick this character and you're just wandering around this really creative, unique world. All of it is like outdoors and it's like 2D animation from like a bird's eye view, like a top-down kind of view. And you're like picking carrots and collecting resources like wood and rocks, and you need to make tools to be able to do that, almost kind of like Minecraft for a second. And then as you collect all of these resources, you realize that the day cycle is coming to a close, it's becoming night, and you absolutely have to have a fire at night, or like these creepy things will come and get you. And like while you're surviving throughout the day, everything's fine, and then at night it gets a little bit scary. And basically you just kind of go through that. There are like bosses in the game, and I just find the entire thing very unique, very inspirational. I love the art style. There's something about that, I don't know what to call it, like almost sketchy, like very loose, sketchy feel to their final illustrations that I just find really liberating. Like, they don't, I don't know, they lack a precision that a lot of final pieces and a final artwork often has, but in a way that it still looks finalized and completed and beautiful. And so, anyways, if you've never played that game, and you have a friend that likes to play video games, highly recommend. It's a one-time purchase, and you guys both have to have it, and then once you do, you can just play it from wherever you want to. And right now, with my partner being in another state, it's a really good way for us to connect and just kind of hang out and play a game and enjoy each other's company. All of that to say that I've been finding a little bit of inspiration specifically in the way that the game has pumpkins, because one of the other things that I really love about the game is that it's very specific to like the seasons that are current in the world. So like it's fall season, and because of that there are like pumpkins everywhere and like fall themed items and things like that. And so I don't know, I could not get enough of the way that these developers and artists draw pumpkins. And so I wanted to kind of apply that a little bit to my own art style and draw some pumpkins and draw pumpkins that I really like. Again, I probably say this every video, but art is derivative, okay? Like, so many things exist in this world, and yes, you can create your own art and, I don't know, create your own sketchbook spreads and your own finalized pieces. But I'm a pretty firm believer, and again, this is just my opinion, that art is derivative, okay? So, like, everything's probably already been created in one iteration or another, so the least you can do is learn from what these amazing artists have done and take and assess what you like about their art and see how you can apply it to your own style and feel and finalize pieces and sketchbook spreads and whatever it is that you want to make, whether it's color palettes or I don't know, maybe the way that they do their line work or the subject matters that they draw. You know, like, I'm a huge fan of artists like Fawnwood and Behemoth's Doodles, but my art doesn't necessarily look anything like them. But I'll bet you that in terms of, like, subject matter and even some of, like, the smaller details in my work, you'll notice parallels because I find inspiration from these artists. And I'm sure those artists find inspiration from other artists because art is oftentimes, in my opinion, derivative. So all of that to say, friendly reminder that references are amazing, make sure to use them, and if you do, like, create a final piece from a reference, obviously you have to utilize that in your resources or whatever, and you have to pay credit where credit is due. But in terms of just, like, finding inspiration in the world, absolutely, you know, look up Pinterest, look up just on Google Images, different things, and see and find something that inspires you and doodle it. Okay, because yes, it's probably been doodled before, but at the very least, you get to doodle it. And that's the thing, it hasn't been doodled by you. For me, during this sketchbook spread, I was finding a lot of inspiration in Don't Starve's. Don't Starve is the same thing as Don't Starve Together. They're the same game, except one is single player and the other one is multiplayer. So, anyways, I was finding a lot of inspiration in those pumpkins. Just the weird squiggly lines and I don't know, sketchy feel to the pumpkins, which I wouldn't necessarily say I kept that super sketchy feel, but it did inspire me to use colored pencil, which I don't often use in my pieces anymore. I just find that it doesn't really add anything that I want. And I mean, I feel like I'm always battling. Like, do I want my pieces and my spreads and whatever, do I want my style to be more sketchy or more like simple and refined? And I feel like it's almost like a tug of war, and it kind of depends on my mood what ends up coming out a little bit more. But I don't know, if I can keep in mind this spread, I really, really love these pumpkins. I would say the weakest one is the one that the crow is like standing on. I don't really like that reddish orange color that I decided to use, but it's okay. I was trying something different. I wanted to make kind of a reddish pumpkin, and I tried, which is all that matters. I know that this voiceover is going to be a little bit all over the place. I didn't necessarily have a theme per se for this specific spread, so I'm kind of just like talking about whatever comes to mind. But I'm really excited to finish this sketchbook, not just because I've been working on it for like a whole fucking year, which again, I always add sort of like an amendum. Is that what it's called? An amendum? An amendment? I don't know. I insert a little like thought here, which is that I have been for the last probably 6-7 months that I've had this sketchbook every other week working on it and working on Procreate paintings because I've been really trying this year to get better and more skilled at Procreate. So that's why it took me so long. That and the fact that the sketchbook is fucking huge and it had like 120 spreads and it was crazy. It was huge. But I'm really excited to finish the sketchbook specifically because I want to go back to a sketchbook that lays flat without the spirals in the middle. I feel like every time the last 5 or 6 spreads, I've always preferred the sketch in the middle of the spread, but it kind of like gets all jumbled and strange because of the spirals, the rings. And so I'm excited to kind of get rid of them. I'm a little over it. I liked how big this sketchbook was at first, and I really liked I liked the spirals because I felt like they broke up the pages in a way that having just that oh my god, what's it called when it's bound like that? I guess just like the smooth binding. Having that is very like, I don't know, it almost feels more daunting that the sketchbook spread isn't broken up into 2 pieces, where the spirals actually do that breaking up and just make it a little bit more approachable in a way, especially a sketchbook this big. I think I'm gonna go a little bit smaller. I don't know. I'm also kind of nervous that if I go smaller, I'm gonna be so used to drawing bigger that it'll be a weird adjustment. But I think I could use a sketchbook that's a little bit smaller. I don't really think I want to take like a year every time to complete a full sketchbook, if you know what I mean. So I think something a little bit smaller will be a little bit more manageable for me. You know, this obviously isn't like a job, it's a hobby at the moment, and so I can only spend so much time completing these spreads, which ends up with me feeling like I took, a whole week on one spread, and oftentimes I'll get burned out by the time I'm done with the spread, and yada yada. So I would like to feel that very specific satisfaction of being able to finish a sketchbook spread a little bit more than I have, since it's literally going on a year since I started this spread. It's been a whole year since I've finished a sketchbook, which is kind of fucking insane. You'll see as I move on to the next part of the spread that I actually drew like a little house, continued the kind of the theme of last sketchbook spread, which was to complete and sort of like doodle up and study different houses and like these cottages and like the architecture of the cottages, just to see if I could if I could do it. And I wanted to kind of continue that a little bit into this spread, and I was watching a lovely animated series called Hilda, Hilda. So if you haven't watched that, it's 3 seasons, fully completed. The story's lovely. There's a little movie that goes along with it between season 2 and 3, the final season. And I just had a fantastic time binge watching it for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And I specifically just loved the idea of this creature called the Woodman, who's just in the woods, taking care of the woods, being strange. And he had this adorable house in these tree roots, and so I wanted to draw my own. I wanted to draw a house in tree roots. So it's by no means an original idea, but I definitely put my own spin on it, and the way that it looks and the way the tree looks and all of that is all mine. I just loved the idea of a tree man and of someone living in the roots of a tree. Holy shit, though, I guess I didn't really tie in the point that I was making about the spirals and everything. So I absolutely love this pumpkin in the middle of the spread. I just think that it's multiple stems sort of reaching out, tendrils is really interesting. And I just, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I added a little bit of gouache highlights. I was kind of figuring out if I wanted to add any gouache to the spread. I do like the highlights. I also like the pumpkins without the highlights. I'm sure it's just up to my preference and the way I'm feeling at the moment. But I will say that I'll probably be drawing my pumpkins like this for the rest of my life because I loved this. This was so much fun to paint. The fun, intricate way that the pumpkin is swirling on itself and twisting on itself to create interesting folds and a dynamic looking structure, I guess. Dynamic silhouette is just really fun, and I want to continue to draw maybe my fruits and vegetables kind of with this gnarled swirliness in mind. hopefully what I'm saying makes sense. Sometimes I feel like I'm speaking and it genuinely doesn't sound like I went to design school at all or understand art and art terms, but I swear I do. It's just kind of difficult to spit them out when you're sitting here trying to focus on your voice and the video and figure out something to talk about, and then your mind is blanking on what the word is, and I don't know. I promise that at times I can sound sophisticated and like I know what I'm doing. At the moment, maybe I'm just not capable of that. Oh, and actually on the screen right now, as I'm like painting this pumpkin, you'll notice that I was going in with like a lot of layers, like really light watercolor layers. It's not really something you can do with gouache, and I was really enjoying it actually, especially like playing with the lighting on the pumpkins, and like, I don't know, it's just not something that I used to do, and I always looked at what other people were doing with watercolor, and I never quite understood what I was missing. I love watercolor, and I love, you know, the vibe that I can create with it, but I felt like I didn't totally understand how to utilize layers in a way that actually created lighting in that really interesting and specific way that watercolor can kind of capture with the really light, I don't know, I guess there's no other word for it. The really light layers on top of each other, the glazing that sort of like creates this interesting light effect where you have just different spots that, I don't know, have so many layers of depth to them that you can kind of see the overlapping layers and the way that those different lines are interacting with the lines of a different layer of the thing that you're creating. I don't know if this is making sense at all. But anyways, I just was really enjoying the lighting on the pumpkin and using layers in watercolor and glazing and really, really like faint layers to create an interesting lighting dynamic, I guess is what I'm trying to spit out. Definitely still learning when it comes to houses. I've kind of just like really recently picked up trying to draw houses and architecture again, so I know it's gonna take a little while, and I wouldn't say that this is like perfect, but I do think there is a little bit of growth in this cottage compared to the ones that I drew in my last spread. So ooh, actually, now that I've said that out loud, I'm realizing it might be my last spread, but I think it's actually going to be next week's video for you guys because I wanted the pumpkins to be in November, obviously not December. So what I'm referencing actually is the fact that I decided to draw some architecture on these turtles, like these houses sitting on these turtle backs, which you guys will hopefully look forward to seeing next week. So yeah, I apologize for previously referencing that I created those turtles and the architecture and whatever, because I totally forgot that that is next week's video, not last week's. All of that being said, I had a lot of fun actually with the idea of these weird like little ghost fish coming out of the house chimney, and also like coming out of like almost the mind of one of the little raveny crow guys, and I don't know, I just like everything on this spread was something that I was pretty happy with. Like I said, the only thing I didn't love was the red pumpkin, but I didn't hate it enough to want to like go over it. I didn't felt like it stuck out necessarily like a sore thumb. I don't know, you guys can let me know what you think. But I was just enjoying myself and having a nice fun little spread. When I finished it, I was kind of like, I don't know, I took a step back and I was like, is there like little details? Are there little details that I need to add? Is there filler that needs to be done? And I don't know, I didn't really feel like any filler was necessary, and I felt like I don't know, everything was occupying the page in a way that I wanted it to, which was really nice for a change, because I have felt like I have to add a little bit of filler in my spreads, which I've kind of I've come to terms with the fact that, like, filler is not, like, a bad thing, and it's not a waste of space or a waste of creativity at all. Like, it's actually fun to kind of just, like, let loose and do these really loose doodles and just kind of fill the space with really... I don't know, man. My, like, voiceover game is pretty shit right now because I feel like I'm just, like, rambling and mumbling, but filling the space with these sort of, like, textures and lines is just something that has been really artistically and, like, creatively fulfilling in a way that I was not anticipating, because I always just felt like it was filler. It was just a waste of time when I could be doing something else. But I have really come around to the fact that it is not a waste of, like, creative energy at all. If anything, it's almost like a little bit of an outlet because I just kind of get to fuck around and see what I want to draw, and I don't have to worry about, like, doing and completing a bunch of details and inking it, or I don't know. There's just something really nice about just being able to throw the color down on the page and just be like, yeah, it's done. It's not a completed little doodle. It's just filler, and it's just being what filler needs to be, and I've just really come to enjoy that when I used to be a real, just, I don't know, like, stickler against it, I guess. I just felt like it was such a waste, and it is so not. It is very, very fun, so highly recommend adding it into your sketchbook spreads if you haven't already. And with this final look at the completed spread, we are done with this video. I really, really hope that you guys enjoyed it. Again, I know that it gets a little rambly when I don't have a theme, but I tried to stay, for the most part, on topic and not lose my train of thought too much. So, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to do the YouTube-y things like comment and subscribe. Thank you so much again for staying to the end, and hopefully I'll get to talk to you in the next one. Bye!